Hi everyone, welcome to the session, fifth session of SS Agile Gurus. Today's session, working agreements, more or less the same for other sessions as well. Be on mute, if in case you're not speaking, be on mute to avoid any background noise. Respect others' views, opinions, pointers. We are all here to learn and share our experience with each other. Make sure to respect others' views, pointers, and anything as well. Be interactive to the possible extent. Yes, it is not a one-way session today, at least. So we try to be interactive, but at the same time, if in case you're not speaking, be on mute and one discussion or one conversation at a time. Don't override others or don't cross talk, double talk, so that it will be helpful for all of us as a group to discuss about it. And any queries taking more time, we can discuss outside the session, and yeah, we can go ahead with it as well. The disclaimer before getting started, so the pointers mentioned are my personal views, opinions. All the images which I used or referred are subjected to copyright. Everything is taken from Google, so I don't have any copyrights, but all the images are used or referred accordingly. Okay. Let's get started. That is me, Satish Kolla. I have total 16 plus years of IT experience, within which 6 years of Scrum, Kanban, or Scrumban, XP, and different practices at the enterprise level, team level program, portfolio level, transformation and implementation experience. I have trained, I'm a SAFE program consultant, SPC. So as part of that, I trained almost 1,500 plus folks on various SAFE certifications. And along with that, outside the work, I was part of different community events or the engagements. SS Agile Gurus is one of it. International OKR Alliance, Objectives and Key Results. We have an OKR Alliance and Management 3.0. The same way, Enterprise Agility University. I am part of different Agile forums or the communities. And just to give a quick glimpse of how my career transition or the transformation happened. I started my career as a QA engineer, then moved into a different organization as a test lead, and then I started working as an Agile team member, and there that took a U-turn or a different direction, started playing the role of a Scrum Master. So moving out of the team member role, moved slowly into the Scrum Master role. There, as part of that, the continuous unlearning and relearning happened throughout the process. And again, another turn or another diversion happened, moving from Scrum Master to the Agile coach role. So from there, again, the unlearning and relearning is continued. And then now it is a continuous learning activity is keep on happening. That is about me, my career transition or the transformation, how it started. So to get started with the topic, we all know that February 2001, 21 years or 21 and a half years ago, when the 17 folks came together and defined or wrote the Agile Manifesto and make it public or make it published. That is where the first time the Agile Manifesto was defined and make it public. After that, so the Agile Manifesto was defined during 2001, February 2001. But before that, something happened. The extreme programming and the adaptive development came up. Then the continuation, there are many other frameworks, many other approaches or the topics, whatever we call, came up, like the test-driven development, lean software development, large-scale Scrum, Kanban, DevOps, mob programming, disciplined Agile delivery. Lot of such things started coming up. And it is not only just after Agile Manifesto. The same thing happened even before Agile Manifesto as well. So it went till 1945, where the Deming at Toyota defined this PDSA model or approach of working. The tighter production system, lean, the iterative incremental development, different things happened before and after the Agile Manifesto was officially announced or published. So I mentioned that from our personal life, but I'm going through all these things. You might get it out. We already know this. So why are we going through this? So that is where we started going through my perspective or my use of what or how Agile played a role in my life or in my career from my childhood or in the history perspective, how the things happen. As a typical Indian kid, my plan is to complete my studies and get into a job and get started. But that is not a smooth, straight line as such. Right? Starting from completion of the school, then +2, then the college. I got excellent rank in MSET, because of which, instead of joining a BTech, I joined a PCA course. And again, after that, I did my MSc Information Systems. So it is not a simple straight line, what is as the plan. It went a lot of ups and downs, a lot of diversions, a lot of changes. If we consider that as a Agile Manifesto statement, responding to change or following a plan. Yes, I still try to follow my plan to get into a IT job, but I was responding to change throughout my studies as a student until I get into the job. That is what my perspective of what the planning versus the reality is. That is what the thing which might be happening in the companies, in the projects implementation as well. We all know the Scrum and Kanban way of working, but again, that is not just from the organization, from the project implementation perspective. We all, at some point of time, we might have referred, used your planner or a timetable or a calendar, at the same time that to-do list for getting that things done. That is what I prefer, or I consider calling it as a Scrum and Kanban, which means even before coming to the job, I was indirectly using these Scrum and Kanban concepts, but I might have not aware, or I might have not officially named those concepts as either a Scrum or a Kanban. Now let's take a look at the next thing. What is this? What is that lady in the picture is trying to do? Anyone?
She's trying to prepare some food item, and she's cutting some pieces.
Okay.
So it's very difficult to prepare a food item without cutting vegetables. It's a little easy to prepare a food item with cutting the vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah, understood that thing.
Yes, thanks, Karnaka. And what else she is doing? Experimentation. Yes, she might be experimenting how to do it. We never know. Just from a picture, we might not be able to understand what she's exactly doing. But yes, that could be the experimentation she might be doing. What else she might be doing?
She's observing.
Observing, yes. Cutting the vegetables, experimentation plus observing. how the dish is coming up, maybe by checking the taste or the smell or the mixture of the spices, how the vegetable is getting cooked. Yes. Tasting the dish. Yes. Why?
It's cooking and checking the progress, like how it is.
Yes, cooking and checking the progress, how the dish is coming up. Yes. Yes, Nilesh?
I feel I can correlate it with inspect and adapt.
Yes. Inspect
So
and adapt as well.
because one hand is still kinda she is occupied with what to cut more, what to add more. So what she's doing is inspecting by tasting whatever she's cooking, and if at all there are some adaptations needed, then her other hand is kinda working on the same.
Exactly. Like she is ready if in case any changes or any enhancements or updates to be done. Yes. Alsha, yes, Gemba work. Yes, Gemba work. Gemba work typically comes from like going and talking to the end users or the customers or understanding their perspective. Yes. So if the cook might be going and talking to the folks whom she's about to serve the food and then doing this experimentation, yes, then we can consider it as a Gemba work. Yes. Thanks for adding the pointers. Anyone want to add pointers? We might be observing this every day or every time we cook a dish, whether we cook it or not, right? Whoever is cooking, even though they are doing the dish multiple times, that might not be the first time they are preparing the dish. Still, they are tasting it, or they're checking how the dish is progressing, how the dish is cooking, any spices or anything to be added or changed, adjusted, to make sure we are getting a valuable dish or the dish which we can serve, which we can taste, which we can enjoy as a meal once the dish cooking is completed. Yes. That way it is like more or less like the constant getting constant feedback, and she's focusing on the quality to make sure as a cook she's not missing on the quality, and the continuous improvement, the inspect and adapt is constantly happening in this way. Yes, we all know this. Again, this is not just specific to the agile or the IT project sort of thing, right? What is happening here? If I have to give my example, my childhood, every day, not at the lunch, but during the dinner, the whole family, we used to sit together. We used to discuss how our day went. And especially my parents used to ask, how is my day? What subjects or what topics was discussed in the school? Am I finished my homework? Or am I ready for the next day class or the next day school, any exam or anything as such? What is that indirectly representing? That conversation, if in case the conversation is happening in that way. Anyone? Okay. It is sort of a daily stand-up, or it is one way to check on the team, here in this case, the family members, for any challenges, any issues, or any help, if in case they are looking for. So that is what the thing, again, from my childhood itself, indirectly, I got used to what the daily stand-up, or how we are continuously checking on the family, whether they need any support or anything as such. Now, if I have, as a parent, if I have to bring the same set of conversation with my kids, it is really tricky. My son, elder one, might be ready to answer the question or the conversation. But my younger kid, daughter, she is really tricky. He might be saying, why are you asking me the same question? Yes, it's not just interrogation. It as a parent, it is like my interest to see how my kid is doing, whether they need any help or anything as such. So the same thing, we might be facing the issue as a Scrum Master as well. The team might not feel the relevance or importance of the daily stand-up. They might get bored or they might not feel the benefit of making it converted as a status meeting. So as a Scrum Master, as an Agilist, it is our responsibility to bring in how we can still make the team engaged and how we can still check the progress, not the status we can check from the Jira boards itself, how we can help the team bring up the challenges and we can help them in the progress of the execution of the sprint or to help them achieve the sprint goal. So that is what we can help. We need to focus on as a Agilist or as a Scrum Master or whatever the role we are playing from the implementation perspective. Yes, Alsha, yes. Daily family connects, yes, that's correct. Umesh, collaboration, yes, exactly. That is what this is indirectly bringing the team bonding or the family bonding. Ghar Sabha, good one, good one. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. What is this coming up? Speed limit or yes, another limit in the lift or the elevator. What is this limits is representing?
These are the conditions.
Conditions, okay. And how is it going to help the agile or the team or the project level implementation or maybe day-to-day perspective as well? Any idea? Overcommitments? Yes. Yes, Ram, you're saying something. Not focused. Okay. Yes. Where in the agile perspective, we typically come across these limits. Where do we use? If in case I have to consider from the agile perspective.
I'd say at two places mainly when you commit a sprint. So you can say what's the capacity of the team, how much they can pick based on the previous experience. And second is uh, like generally when we use the Scrum and Kanban together, the different stages, we can say you can't have more than X amount of story in development or X amount of story in testing. So you can balance out the teams across the full sprint. So where we use a particular limit to put a full stop that you can't go more than that, and you need to be around that to be more productive or more focused.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Uday. And thanks, Umesh, as well, like velocity and capacity. Yes. Many times, whenever we talk about the limits, many folks consider the limits is only for Kanban. Typically, we talk about the work in progress limits from the Kanban perspective, right? That's not the case. We will be following different set of limits within the Scrum as well. It's again need not be only the Scrum, and even within the Scrum, we could be still using different limits like the capacity limit or the velocity limit, or we might be saying the 2-week sprint. Yes, there is a limit of the 2 weeks timeline which we are setting up. So we will be referring, we will be using, we will be setting different set of limits and different levels or different phases or stages in both Scrum or Kanban, or even if it is a combination of Scrum and Kanban together. Yes. And again, our role as an agilist or as a Scrum Master or a coach is to make sure the team is not exceeding wherever it is possible or feasible. We need to make sure the team is maintaining within the allowable limits. If not, what happens here in this case? The driver might be getting a ticket or a challan. The same way, the team might get overloaded, overstressed, overburdened whenever they are taking it beyond their velocity or capacity or their BIP work in progress limit from the Kanban perspective. Yes, there is about the BIP limits. The same way, yes, if we are setting too low limits, it is a cheetah, we know how fast, how quick the cheetah can run. So if you are setting the limits of, you cannot go beyond 40 in this example. Yes. The team might be underperforming. Again, it is our role to make sure the team to understand what is their caliber, what is their capabilities, what is their skill set, how we can help them speed up, or we can help them enhance their skill set, or we can bring them to that full potential or full productivity, whatever it is, the team as a team they can achieve. Okay. Then comes that paid programming. During our childhood, when we started learning our bicycle or a bike or a car, we might have not done everything on our own. We might have taken some support of the instructor or a parent or elder or a friend or colleague to get that started. The same way, one way to start paid program, that is not the only way to do the paid programming, but the concept of paid programming is taken from that, where the person who is doing the actual implementation is considered as a driver, and the one who is helping, sitting next to the other, is can be considered as a navigator. The way how the instructor helps in the driving perspective. The group study for exam can be considered as a mock programming, where because multiple folks, here the paid is talking only about two folks, two individuals, whereas the group study, combined studies in our childhood is like we used to do multiple friends, multiple members together. That is what we can consider as a mock programming. What we used to do is like each of us used to take one question or one topic. We used to go through it. Then once our topic is done, as soon as I understood the topic, I used to explain to my friends. Then the second person, third person, we used to go around. That is what nothing but the mock programming. So yes, Google Maps. Umesh, you want to expand how we are using that paid programming using Google Maps? You meant to say the navigation?
Yeah, navigation. While driving, Google say you have to take a next left. So this is also kind of pair program. Otherwise, our family members are also sitting. They are using the navigator while sitting, and they told us to take the next left or right or where our destination, like that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So even this concept, I was aware in my childhood during my studies, college time itself. So yes, you're still in the student life itself, where I was going through different concepts. Again, knowingly or unknowingly, each of us might have already gone through these from our childhood in different ways, different forms itself. Okay. What is this picture representing? What is that? It's a cricket team. Yes. What is that they are doing? Team collaboration. Yes. What else?
You can say
Daily scrum or daily stand-up. Yes. Retro. Retro also. Yes. How the previous over or the previous wicket went. They might be celebrating and they might be getting ready for the next wicket or the next over. Yes. Retro. Review. Yes. They might be reviewing how they did. They might be waiting for the feedback from the umpire or the third umpire. They might be waiting for that as well. Yes. They got it. They're done. And they are waiting for the feedback from the umpires. Planning. Planning for the next step or the next game to continue. Okay. Yes. From my perspective, it is coming like a self-organized, cross-functional agile team. Why self-organized? The 11 members in the ground, in the team, they will organize among themselves where who should be doing, who should go next for the bowling or the batting, or who should be there in the which position in the fielding, or the cross-functional. We have specialist batsmen, specialist bowlers, specialist wicket keeper, the captain, but still all the 11 members come together, work together to win the game, to play the game and to win the game. And along with that, one more additional quality or the additional aspect they are bringing as part of the cross-functional skill set is the moment batsman is done with his batting, he won't sit back and relax in the launch. He will still come and help the bowlers by doing the fielding. Same is the case with the bowlers as well. When our turn of doing the batting, all the 11 members, again, based upon how the game goes, all the 11 members are ready to come and play the game, do the batting as required. They might not be doing full-fledged score or doing the hundreds. Yes, maybe who knows? They might be, but they are coming together as a team, making sure they are working together to play the game as well as to win the game. That is what is a self-organized, cross-functional agile team coming together and playing the game. So they are breaking the silos of the developer, tester, DB, architect, or any other role. They are, when they are playing the game, they are a team. They have their skill set, their expertise, but at the same time, when they are playing the game, they will be working as a team and they will be picking up the skill or picking up that responsibility or the role, whatever is required from that context perspective. Okay. Anyone wants to add any points for this?
So Satish, as you told, Sharath here.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. A self-organized team is always highly motivated, right? Highly empowered.
Yes.
And they are good at decision making. They have minimal supervision from external factors or boss, whoever. And the good thing which I observed is they believe in themselves as a team.
Yes.
Right. Which is critical. Just want to add these few points.
Sure. Thanks, sir. Thanks for adding the points. So in one of the recent discussion, one individual asked me a question. As a Scrum Master, how can we pick and choose the team members? Picking and choosing the team members might not be in our scope as a Scrum Master. Many cases, Scrum Master might be the one who might get onboarded last to the project or to the implementation. That might be happening in many cases. So what happens, whatever is the team, whatever is it, 11 members plus the backup players, the substitutes who are there, we need to go ahead and play the game with them. So the best example is the IPL auction. Until that auction gets completed, we don't know who will be part of the team. The same thing is happening. So the Scrum Master is not involved in that stage. The management or the owners, the franchisee owners is going for their auction. Based upon their budgets, based upon their strategy, they are picking up, choosing the players. And once the players are onboarded to the team, it is our responsibility to make them work together and play the game and focus on winning the game. That's the same thing might be happening in the reality of the agile projects as well. We might not be having each and every team member as equal skill set or high experience or all the top players. It might not be possible. None of the teams will be having the skill set or the expertise. It is our role as a Scrum Master or as a coach, how we can bring the team to work together and how we can make them collaborate, coordinate among themselves and go ahead into the implementation is what we need to focus on, or we need to help the team with that. Okay, moving on. Yes. What are these pictures representing? One more picture, yes. Backlog. What else? Poor prioritization, depth. Yes. Indirectly, there is a technical depth. We know we have to do, but we might keep it on low prioritization. We might have not focused on getting it done on time. Yes, that's when the things pile up like anything, and at some point of time we might end up not able to deliver required value or benefit to the customers, the end user stakeholders. That is what the thing happens, not only in the personal day-to-day life, the same thing keep on happening in the projects, in the implementation as well. Team might not be working on it, or product owner might not be focusing on prioritizing the technical depth or prioritizing the spikes or the enablers, or making sure focusing on that implementation. That is when the thing is, we might end up in this situation, right? Especially before the exams. I'm not sure how many of you are from BTech background, but I'm not from BTech, so I don't know exactly. But yes, in the studies time, we might have did night outs just to clear up the concepts to go ahead and give the exam. We all know we might end up in rush, in a hurry to get that done, and we will get it done, but the way we do might be in a rush or in a hurry, where if we have planned, prioritized and get it done on a continuous regular basis, it might be done in a different way. Yes, Satya Gopal, you have a question? Or you want to add a point?
No any question. Just I am saying I am from BTech.
Okay, okay. Yes, thank you.
That's
So,
it.
Umesh, lack of 5S. You want to expand on what is that 5S?
It's simple words: short, science, standardized, and sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
concept Toyota invented many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that. Okay. The technical depth is the concept which we discussed. Yes. What is this representing, or what is that the concept is coming up here? Yes, Nilesh.
Satish, can you please guide us on what to do to kind of make sure that tech depths don't, come together all together? Some things can't really be controlled, but what are the standard steps which we should have in place to kind of make sure that we don't make that kitchen dirty altogether?
So, if we are at the organization level, there are different tools to check on the code coverage or the how we are doing on the code implementation perspective. Right? So, I'm not a pure DevOps coach, but I know the concepts. That's what I'm trying to mention. So, what happens is like the code coverage perspective, how much of the requirements are met, and all those things. There are some tools which the different organizations use different perspective, making sure that is being tracked, that is being addressed on a regular basis. And our role as a scrum master is to make sure the team is focusing on that. And at the same time, when we do the sprint planning or the release planning, we need to remind the product owner and the team and the architect to plan some time and effort to get these depth addressed or plan or prioritize. Otherwise, it will keep on accumulate, and at some point of time, we may have to stop everything and we may have to work on that cleanup stuff. Does it answer your question, Nilesh?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Okay.
If I may jump in on
yeah.
here,
Yes,
I
Uday,
guess
go ahead,
someone
please.
is traveling and it's causing noise.
Uday, you want to add a point?
yeah. So I think as Satish gave an example of the dirty kitchen. So there are two scenarios in here. One scenario is that when you're living a family of 4 or 5 people, and on a daily basis you can maintain it easily. But whenever you have a party, you have to put a previous steps, like you need to have the reusable things, you have to have a big dustbin in there, so you plan for that in advance because you know that's going to go dirty, and if you don't focus on that now, your party will be messy, and at the end there will be some discomfort in the party. So if you plan it in that way, and if you have the view that what are the things which we can take care based on our previous experiences, we can add as a part of the process, as Satish mentioned about the code coverage or the internal review, or some certain reports which your organization may be supporting, or they may be supporting an external tool which will audit the code on regular basis. That may be a sprint, that may be quarterly or half yearly, and provide you that audit report. So this comes with certain processes which you adopt and align into your day-to-day life to get that messiness little bit avoided, or you can say less messy rather than it. It will be messy for sure, we know that, but to avoid the big mess, we can use those small stuffs on daily basis and get some ideas from the team itself.
Yes. Thanks, Uday. So the same way, if we are preparing for the exams, we might get to know the exam dates and the syllabus way ahead, until unless it is a surprise test or a something like that. So the same way, we will get to know the release dates, release timelines, release scope from the project's perspective. Right. The same time, we need to plan how we can, what is the scope? Again, We might say the scope might be keep on changing, keep on revising, adjusting. Yes, it happens. But whatever is there, whatever is known from that current situation, current point of time, based upon our previous historical releases, so the experiences, how the release went, what the challenges we faced, what the production issues or any feedback coming from the customers. That is also we can focus on how we can improve, how we can make sure the release happens smooth, and what is the enablers, what is the spikes, what is the POCs, which the team has to focus on. We may have to plan them a bit ahead and make sure we can get that everything done in the possible time. We might not be the technical expert in the team, but we can take the help of the architects or the technical lead or whoever can help the team from the technical implementation perspective. Sometimes the team, they themselves might know, but they might keep it intentionally on a low priority. The way how kids, they know that they have to complete the syllabus, but they will keep on playing, keep on watching TV or cartoons, and they will say, I will finish, I will study tomorrow, day after. The way how, as a parent, we will try to make them engage and start focusing on small topics or the chapters every day on a regular basis. The same way we can try with the teams as well.
Satish, Sharath here. Just want to add a couple of points.
Sure.
One thing is with respect to the legacy applications, right? Which have tightly coupled monolithic architectures, because of which people at the developers level and everyone, they build or develop code based on those architectures and everything, which obviously will become a complicated situation for the application itself, because of which the application performance might go down most of the time. So one of the reasons for these technical debts indirectly is the complex architectures. And second thing is with respect to the unused features. Traditional applications have a lot of unused features, like if you see Facebook, how cluttered it is even today. Even the people, most of the people don't use those features, still they keep that. I don't know why. Even I think the Excel, right? Microsoft Excel, that is also facing similar kind of situation. So these kind of things will obviously increase the technical debt, right?
Exactly.
And decrease the application performance. So those things need to keep in mind. I recollect that principle: best architectures must design from self-organized teams. So if teams adapt to such kind of principles and works toward that, then these kind of technical debts will be avoided in advance, like shift left, right?
Yes. And the same way that refactoring also, like as you mentioned, Sharatla, the Facebook and Excel or many other tools, many other applications, even though the customers, the end users are not making use of those, the companies are still supporting, still providing the support. So at some point of time, the companies need to do the research analysis and they should retire that feature or the functionality. The way how, again, Microsoft retired the Internet Explorer, stating that we are no more providing the support. But what are the reasons? Now they brought in the Edge. Microsoft Edge has a different application, different browser. But the way how, again, Microsoft stopped the previous versions of Office support. Right? So each company, each organization, each application has their own way mechanism to see how we can refactor the existing code to bring in the maintainability, scalability, sustainability, and reusability. So that is what, again, coming from the technical implementation perspective. So the business folks and the architects and the product owners could help us in reprioritizing and getting that features or the functionalities which are being not used moved out. Should the Scrum Masters help organizations to research about process and tools and enable the change that can be adaptable by organization? Yes, if required, that is what the role of a Scrum Master, to help not only the team, not only the product owner, we should be able to help the organization as well, as and when required, wherever it is possible or feasible. If we know a best practice standard or a tool or any approach which can help the organization, yes, we can definitely bring it up to the discussion. We typically bring it as part of the communities of practice or any forum where we can share it with the leadership team or maybe agile coaches or the managers, architects, whomever we can reach out to and share that experience or the expertise. Then we can have a conversation and we can get it. The analysis done, whether it will suit our organization context or perspective, and they can go ahead with that. Does that answer your question, Rajita?
Yes, sir. Yes, totally. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, moving on. The report card. What does this represent, or what does this brought up? The concept of agile. Metrics, assessment, results, DOD, yes, definition of done. And anything else? One way it is sort of like a review end of every quarter or end of every unit, and get the feedback, showcase the results, showcase the demo to the customers. In the case of the school or the college, the parents are the customers. So as a school, as an organization institute, they have to share the results of how the student did in the exam and how the feedback is coming from, what is the improvements, how they can do from the next assessment perspective, where which area the concept is missed or which was really good, what's the improvement can be done. Yes. KPIs, yes, okay, that's correct. And one more thing is like the incremental delivery as well. So the school or the college could have kept the exams towards end of the academic year. Instead, they're doing the on a unit-wise test, the quarterly, half-yearly, and annually, and the revision tests to make sure the final end product or the end result is coming up, and we are identifying the improvements and the gaps, and we are constantly bringing up the suggestions or addressing the gaps, rather than just doing a one-time non-incremental delivery. And if we have to go back and fix something, it might be too late at that point of time. So that is what, again, the incremental value, or at the same time, the continuous implementation, continuous integration, or the incremental iterative delivery is indirectly coming into that. Yes, again, publishing the results, tracking the KPIs, measuring the progress, coming up with the improvements, action items, how we can improve ourselves. Yes, all this can be considered from this picture perspective. Yes, iterative and incremental delivery, and at the same time focusing on the continuous integration and bringing up a valuable working product or the software application towards end of the implementation. Yes, this picture, the importance of continuous integration, and this thing happened in real time. For individuals, they started laying the track and they were able to integrate at this point of time. They discussed about that integration point, but they haven't constantly checked how others or how the other team or other paid is working on the implementation. So that is what happened. The same thing might happen in the either within the team or with our dependent upstream, downstream teams as well. when we talk about Agile, it is not just one single team can be done the whole implementation. Definitely, we need multiple teams working on the implementation project end-to-end perspective. So we need to constantly check or constantly see, like Umesh mentioned, inspection. Yes, constantly keep on inspect or keep an eye on how the integration is coming down. You shouldn't wait till the end of the cycle to get that integration done. So if that is the case, what's the difference between the typical traditional waterfall versus this agile way of working? Right? We will start going a little bit back into the history now. Before going into this, I forgot to include one slide or one specific topic. We all are aware about the Y2K problem, Y2K challenge or the issue. What is that Y2K? Why that might have happened? Yes, the year 2000, the moment year 2000 is coming up, that Y2K problem was really like a hot topic that couple of years. Many folks got jobs. If you know the spelling of Java, come, you are a software engineer, you'll get a job, you'll get a visa, on-site, everything. Yes. What is that Y2K problem is about? Any idea? Okay. So for the year in any of the date field, date parameter, only 2 digits is considered instead of a 4 digit. The 2 digits is considered, which is like now instead of writing a 2022, they just considered last 2 digits, only 22. So what happened is by the time they reached 1998 and 99, the next is the year 2000 is coming up. So it starts with 00 or rounding off to the last 2 digits, it will be like 00. With that perspective, what happened is after 99, it will go back to 00. So they haven't considered 4 digits for the year. They consider only the 2 digits. So because of that, people who were born in 2000, 2000 or above, the chances of they will be considered as born in 1900 or all that miscalculations, misrepresentations might happen or will happen. That because of that, they had to go and change all the 2-digit year formats into 4-digit year format. That is what the Y2K problem, Y2K challenge is. Because of that, considering only the 2 digits for that year field. What or why that might have happened? We discussed what, but why that might have happened? Any idea?
Vision.
Yes, Sumesh?
Vision.
Vision? Yes, vision is one thing. Or maybe the long-term thought process or the perspective could be one thing. They might have not thought when that implementation was initially done, or the scalability or the expanding or continuity might have not thought. Again, we never know what might have done, but yes, just for the discussion, not considering that scalability or the long-term perspective might have caused that issue at that point of time. Okay, so coming back to this Toyota production system. The Toyota production system was very popular in the 1970s, 80s, where many of the Kaizen concepts were taken from them manufacturing unit. When the problem is clearly understood, improvement is possible. Yes, that is what still many cases we are lagging, or many cases the organizations are failing in understanding the problem. Instead, we will try to do everything possible except understanding the problem, because of which we are not getting the actual benefits or actual improvements. Yes, again, the Toyota production system is like, make only what you need in the quantities you need and when you need it, just in time development. That is what they started bringing up. Why that became more popular? What would be the reason why it started up picking up from that manufacturing unit? The reason is, once the World War is completed, there is a really scarcity of the materials or the parts availability. So the Toyota as an organization, they don't want to wait until the availability of the parts or the raw material. They started picking up and started manufacturing the cars with the whatever the material, whatever the availability of the things. First in, first out. Yes, they don't want to manufacture the vehicles in bulk. Instead, they want to, whatever is done, the shortest small batches, and completing and delivering the cars or the goods whenever it is done to the customers in the shortest possible time. That is what everything got started from this Toyota manufacturing unit. Yes, make to order. Yes, the lean concepts, the value stream management, typical concept if we say, identify where the delays, where the gaps is coming up, and see how quickly, how effectively we can deliver end to end in the shortest possible time with minimal delays or minimal gaps. That is what the Toyota production system started implementation, because of the scarcity of the raw material and because of the orders getting piled up. And if you observe, the same cycle or same trend is repeating now. The last 2 years, because of the available scarcity of the semiconductors or the chips not getting manufactured or not getting delivered on a regular timely basis from China because of the lockdown, because of the COVID and everything, the orders are getting delayed like anything. Yes, man, material and machine availability. Yes, Anish, that's correct. Thank you. So make sure whatever is available, start making use of it and start building it and getting it delivered and get the feedback or get the customer satisfaction. That is what the Toyota started making use of it. Going a step back into the World War time. Yes, this is one of the picture, the popular picture. I don't exactly remember whether it is the First World War or Second World War or which war, but this is the picture of a war aeroplane, war aircraft, which is being used. So what happened is, one of the country, they started all the red spots are the bullets or the areas where the aircraft got impacted when they went for the war. I mean, do the attack for the outside opposite country, and when it came back, the army started doing the analysis of this. Why these many red spots? Why these are the weak areas, or these are improvements which we need to focus on to make sure the aircraft is not impacted or aircraft is not shot down. From that, folks, one individual came out. I don't remember the name. Sorry for that. So, but one individual came out and mentioned, highlighted, why are we focusing only on these? What about the aircrafts which didn't came back? Yes, some of them might have shot down. What about it? They're not back, so we don't know. What if the non-impacted areas is what? They might have got shot down. Yes, that might be the weak area, or that might be the thing which we need to focus on. Again, like out of box thinking, or how just not looking at one perspective, one picture, one way of looking at the things, how we should focus on from the bigger picture perspective, and how we should bring in the improvements or suggestions or questions to the team is what this picture is indirectly representing. Okay. What is this? Why all of a sudden the Titanic came here? What happened the night when the Titanic sank? Why Jack, and not only Jack, many other folks drowned and died the night Titanic collapsed or Titanic sank? What could be the reason? Any thoughts? Okay. So when I had a similar discussion with my friend, he mentioned Jack is not having a ticket. He went into the thing last minute without a valid ticket or valid thing. That could be the reason he might not got the life jacket or the lifeboat, whatever it is. But here, if you see, it is not only Jack. There are many other folks who couldn't get that life jacket, who couldn't get the lifeboat. That when that incident happened. The reason is the ship manufacturers, they want to create a record sort of thing, poor design. Yes, not exactly the poor design, but what happened is they expanded the size of the ship 4 times so that it can accommodate 4 times the passengers than the known capacity or the known dimension, the known size. We were not aware what we need to deliver. Yes, could be. Yes, Umesh. So high speed. So what happened is they expanded the capacity of the ship, the design or the size of the ship, but they haven't thought about expanding the lifeboats or the life jackets. They kept the lifeboats and the life jackets as is, which means only 1/4 of the passengers they can accommodate. Remaining the 3/4 of the passenger, they don't have the lifeboats or the life jackets. Welcome changing requirements. They got the change in requirement. They expanded the specifications of the boat to accommodate more capacity. At the same time, they haven't thought the end-to-end perspective, the bigger picture. Yes, the risk analysis is not done, or the end-to-end perspective, end-to-end analysis is not done. That is one of the reasons why it happened. Otherwise, if you observe any of the ship or any of the boat, it should have more life jackets or more lifeboats than the allowed capacity. That is one of the reasons why the sinking of the Titanic, yes, we may have not avoided because of that hit with that iceberg, but at least the lives of the passengers might have got saved. Yes, YY analysis and the dependencies was not done, not considered. That is one of the reasons why that ended in that situation. Yes, that is what we call it as a systems thinking, the end-to-end perspective. Whenever we say welcome changing requirements, even late in development, or responding to change or following a plan, we need to consider if we do this change, what else it might impact, or which other upstream, downstream system it might crash or it might impact, it might bother. We need to, it might not be, again, it won't be the responsibility of Scrum Master, but it is our responsibility to remind the business team or the product owner or the architect, whoever is having that ownership, to do that risk analysis or the change management analysis, and accordingly, they should go ahead. The same way, yes, another example, this vehicle, they might have got a change requirement stating that this vehicle now needs to be accommodating or should be able to drive on a hilly area, mountain area. They might have changed the tires, but what happened to this extra tire? No one bothered, no one worried or considered about it. So what is the value add? What is the benefit? That's one extra wheel is there. It is there. But what is the use? Right? Like as Sharath mentioned, what is the benefit it is giving? It is not giving any value. The customer who is driving that Jeep or the vehicle won't be able to make use of it, even if he has to replace it at any point of time. So why is that being there when it is not giving any value? Or why that is not considered when the change request or the change in the requirement came into the implementation? Yes, another thing, especially from the COVID travel perspective, right? So the airlines, when they started opening up the airports, stating that we are making sure the passengers are maintaining the social distancing at the airport, at the security checks, at the boarding, everything. But what happened once they are boarded into the flight? They even started serving the food, drinks, and everything. So obviously, all the passengers will remove their mask and they will start consuming the food. So how the airlines is taking that or making sure that the passengers' health or the safety is taken care. And that's the reason they are asking the passengers to bring in the COVID negative reports, the vaccination records, or even acknowledging that it is the passenger should go through the test before and after the flight journey and everything. Because they can't avoid this. They can't lose the revenue, or at the same time, they can't charge the customers more by allowing only alternate seats or maintaining the social distancing. But that end-to-end systems thinking is not being considered, is what is missing indirectly. Yes. Thanks, Mesh. Going a little bit back more into the history. Anyone, can you try to identify what is that picture is about? I'm very bad at history. At the same time, I'm asking the question. Yes. So that is the first time the flight was designed and manufactured by the Wright brothers in the year 1903. Wright brothers, two brothers, they started doing the, they want to come up with their own flight. They haven't even mentioned as a flight as such. They want to help make the human travel from one place to other place safely, securely. That is what their vision, their plan, or their goal is. So they started doing that. So the 1900, they did it. The first time it flew a limited distance, and I don't remember, it is around 10 feet or some distance it traveled and it stopped. Then again, they based upon that, what is the specifications, what worked, what didn't work. They went back and they did the second model in 1901. Again, it didn't work. Then again, the third model came in 1902. Then the final one, in the 1903, they came up with a successful thing which traveled a safe distance and which landed safely as well. So that is about the history, about the first flight when the Wright brothers came up with the design or the implementation on their own. So what is this bringing up into the context? MVP? Yes, Umesh? What else along with MVP? Any other ideas? What else could be along with MVP or apart from MVP?
So can I have the question answer here?
Yes, Shravani. Yes, deliver frequently. Okay. Continuous exploration and improvement. Yes. The prototyping, explore and improve what's working, what's not working. Yes. That is one pointer. Moscow. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, Umesh? How Moscow came, or what is the context of connectivity of Moscow to this?
Connectivity of Moscow in the sense must have features. In the first trial, what they identified and what they recognized that to reduce the weight, they have to reduce some material from where it is not necessary or mandatory. Like that, must have should have features.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. That's correct. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Along with that, my perspective is like, yes, fail fast, learn fast, and the continuous exploration, inspection, adaptation, what's working, what's not working, see how we can deliver that working valuable software on a continuous basis by doing different prototypes and observing what specifications it is working, what is not working. They did that analysis, they did that, and after the fourth time, they were able to succeed in their experimentation. So are we allowing, or is this type of experimentation or the prototyping happening in our teams at this point of time? We are constantly making sure the team is loaded 80 to 90% of their capacity, making sure they're constantly delivering the work as per the prioritization from the product owner. Right? How well the teams are allowed to do the experimentation or do the exploration, do the prototyping and getting it improved implementation. Not every time or not every case. The same thing happened with when we are having a discussion with one of the leader. We asked him, what is your perspective of Agile? He mentioned the same statement: fail fast, learn fast, improve and identify what's working and go ahead with how we can improve the way you can deliver the work. During the discussion, after some point of time, we asked him the question, what if your team came out of the sprint or the release stating that we could got only some of the things done. We need to improve or we need to go back and redo some of the work, some of the code. His immediate response is, how come the teams do like that? The team has to deliver whatever they committed. So you yourself as a leader mentioned, fail fast, learn fast, or adaptation is what you believe in, but you are not letting your teams do that. So where is that lead by example or the leadership support or buy-in is coming to the teams? Right? Okay. Then way back to Mahabharat. Yes. We are at the last stage, last step. What is this picture representing? Trust and relationship. Yes. Correct. Mentorship. Yes. What else? Coach, guide. Yes. As a SM, your shield of your team. Yes, exactly, Umesh. That is what the Lord Krishna is doing in this context. We all know how much technical or skilled Lord Krishna is. He himself did lot of wars, lot of fights. He himself defeated or killed lot of folks. He won lot of wars on his own. When it came to Kauravas and Pandavas, he just played the role of a true servant leader or a true leader. If in case you have to consider as a latest Scrum guide. Right? Whatever his technical skills, he kept it aside. He let Kauravas and Pandavas deal the conflict among themselves on their own. When it didn't resolve, they went for a war. Even then, he is there to help, protect, and guide the team or coach, mentor his team. Again, he is not a mentor or a guide for the whole Pandavas. He identified as a coach, as a mentor, as a guide. He identified that out of that 5 Pandavas, Arjuna is the one who is coachable, who can be a mentor, whom he can be a mentor, and he helped Arjuna to be a mentor and as a coach. And even in between the war, when Arjuna got stuck, he did that Gita Bodha and he helped Arjuna come out of the conflict or come out of his dilemma and continue the war. Yes, that is what it is. The true leadership role is coming up from this context. Okay, yes. the servant leadership, the coach or the mentor-mentee relationship, all these things can be considered. And as and when our mentee or the team got stuck, that is where our role as a coach comes into context to help the team identify how they can progress further, how they can come out of the situation, and how they can progress further by removing the impediments or by guiding them as a mentor, as a coach. Okay, yes, this is a sample picture of how in the day-to-day the folks started using that user story format or the template in different creative ways. But yes, that was end of the topic or the end of the slides, the concepts which I wanted to discuss from my side. Yes. Any questions? Or if in case you want to provide the feedback, yes. Feedback is welcome. How you felt the session? Feel free to provide the feedback. Any comments, any questions, any suggestions, any improvements for the upcoming sessions, the topic, let us know. Okay, thank you. Good. Others, you can unmute or you can turn on your camera, or you can share your pointers. I was waiting for this. Explain well. Bless you. Thank you. Thanks for your feedback. Any suggestions are also allowed. Wonderful session. Thank you. Like the session. Thank you. Thanks for all the feedback coming up. Nice. Anyone, any of you want to take any concept, any session in future? Let us know. You know whom to reach out. You can reach out to me or Sharat in the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group. And you can reach out to us. You can drop us a note. Let us know any topic, any concept related to Agile which you feel could be helpful for in any way, any format. Let us know. We can do a session. Yes. Can reach out to me or Sharat. And or if you want, you can drop an email. Yes, you can schedule a session. That's from my side. Any last minute questions, pointers? Anyone want to add any pointers? Slide would be shared. Yes, I will try to share the slide, Sumana. Want
Yes,
a
Satish,
session on cumulative flow diagrams? Yes, Ravani. Yes, we will schedule one.
Satish, thanks for taking this session in this busy schedule. I know you are busy, but thanks for taking time for us in scheduling this beautiful session. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks for each of you again for the active participation. Yes, Sumesh.
Hi, Satish here. First of all, I would like to say thanks to you and Sharat. You are making all of them to get a better understanding. As I am a beginner, I started my journey as 1.5 months ago only. But you and Sharat provided many links and that interactive session. So it's too helpful for me to become a Scrum Master, and I will your guidance and your efforts will make me to get that position as soon as possible. Because in the first session, I am attending from the first session. I saw you and Sharath was first session given by the Sharath only. I think so.
Yes.
So I am strictly waiting when you are going to give your. So I am really thanks and you both were busy in your daily schedule, but you take too much time to respond on WhatsApp group or Telegram group. And I saw every weekend you are arranging the session here, and you both are spending time for us. So thanks. First of all, thanks. No one
Sure,
can do.
thanks. It is all, it is not just Sharath and me, it is all you, all the participants also giving us energy to drive the sessions, the discussions, the conversations. And yes, Sumana mentioned the less word but impactful images to collect. I'm very, what do you say, lazy to prepare a PPT or a content. So most of the times I prefer using the pictures or the images so that we can have the conversation around it rather than just reading the slides. If it is the thing, I can just share the slides and ask you as a participants to go through it. I don't prefer that, at least from my side. That is why I try to keep it as the images or the conversation, open conversation like this. That is not my way of taking a session. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Umesh, for the great feedback. Looking forward to serve everyone through this platform. As Satish told, if you guys have any specific topics that you want to learn, just let us know. Either we will take or we'll get good speakers. Probably it might take time, but we'll get good speakers, and we can leverage this platform.
Satish sir, what I am thinking that many of us are here. So, as a Scrum Master, what we are doing on a daily basis, like next session we can plan internal with our team, like daily stand-up. So, live daily stand-up, what happened in a daily stand-up or sprint planning, like that we can do. It will be helpful. It's like a practical session, I mean to say. Is it possible?
Let's discuss on it once how we want to do it.
But,
Because the typical daily stand-up work, how it works is the whole team know what is their goal is, how they are progressing, or any challenges, any issues. From our day-to-day perspective, it might go in a different way. Yes, but we can discuss on it how we can have the session and how we can make it effective. It's not just the session is there.
As a Scrum Master, what we are doing on a daily basis, like a daily stand-up, sprint planning, sprint retro, some topic for next few sessions we are covering one topic and we will do as a practical like that.
Sure. Let's discuss on that.
Umesh, Sharath here. What we'll be doing is probably we'll be planning some workshop. Okay. For all the group members who are there in SS Agile Gurus, right? So that workshop will help you folks to get hands-on, like practical kind of experience. Okay. So let's gather more audience for that and execute such things. Okay. Not with one or two people, because we need to invest a lot of time, help you people understand what goes on the ground, right? So let's get good number of people and we'll plan for a workshop. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, yes. So from my side, thanks for taking your time on Friday night and make sure to take part in this and interactive participants. It's not just you are there in the session, but interactive, responsive, or taking that concepts of the topics. Thanks for each of you. And looking forward for such more wonderful sessions from each of you as well. Thank you for that. And any last minute comments, feedback, anything? Okay. If not, thanks once again. Happy weekend. We will share the recording on the group by tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. And I will try to share the slides as well.
Thanks, Satish. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.